The worst part is that doesn't work as a voice for like the luchador side of her persona, which I'm still trying to find one for and struggling.
Oh, that's when
And
you go
I'm
country.
also, I think is the problem is I realized just how much Spanish I've forgotten, and just how much my brain tries to, like, if I'm leaning into Spanish, suddenly my brain goes, "Oh, you want to replace half of your sentence with Norwegian? There you go."
Fascinating.
It's so annoying.
And we've been live for the past 20 seconds.
Oh no, god damn it.
You're all welcome. And with that, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of Up in Smoke, our Shadowrun 6th edition live play game. It's set in 2081, following this ragtag group of weirdos. Before we jump into things, we'll go around the room and everyone can introduce themselves and who they are playing. I'll pick one of you and you can pick who goes next. Let's start with Pete.
Pete. First. Hurrah. Pete, I play Grifter and I am new improved with stats abound this week. It's going to be good. I'm expecting good stuff. And the next person will be Kat. There we go. Look, let's flip it out.
Hello, I'm Kat, or at Cleric of Cord. I play Nico, the street shaman, who is leaning in. Yeah, it's just ghosts. God damn it. Vic is the ex that just won't go away.
Yeah, we'll revisit that at some point.
Let's go with KTP.
Thanks. So I'm Kim. I play KTP, who's the group's technomancer, who's currently throwing a bit of a hissy fit, just walking out like a stroppy teenager. So over to Die.
That's certainly one way to describe what your character's doing. Accurate. Hi, I'm Dan. I play Sphere, whose name I nearly forgot, who is the rigger, who is no longer the person of too many drones, but instead is trying this new approach of making better use of the resources available instead of just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Last time...
Oh, you're not muted.
Last time, actually, before I jumped out, just going to say thank you to the brand new follow. Thank you from a previous game, the 5 gifted subs that were handed. I just want to say that if anyone feels like they want to sub, hey, I would appreciate it. It gives you a bunch of channel points that you can spend on helping everyone out, and every sub helps the channel on giving us opportunities to do more fun things. With that said, let's jump into the game. So last time, Nico returned after a bit of time away, taking care of some personal errands, which we'll describe for now, though we'll revisit that in full at a later date. But for now, we'll call it putting some ghosts to rest. She returned and the big conversation happened. KTP revealed her hand, everything that she'd been looking into, including the elements of Lawrence's past. Speaking of Lawrence, Nico and Lawrence had a big conversation in which Nico suggested that if Malcolm wants to let go, he should respect it. The conversation didn't end well. Nor did the conversation end well for KTP and the rest of the group, which ended in KTP storming off with Karas in tow to look after her while she fumes down the street. Fear is still in the middle of design phase and building out the new chair with all the implements required for a rigger. And Grifter is, well, doing Grifter things. We're going to jump into our game just a short few hours later. KTP, you are still out, walking about with Karis, as I said, in tow, more hovering around you while you fume down the busy London streets. What is going on through KTP's mind?
She's pissed.
Please elaborate.
Sorry, what was that?
Please elaborate.
No, she feels that she's been doing her best to look after the group and has had to make some quite difficult decisions recently. And I guess that she's feeling she's feeling underappreciated, I guess. But in a kind of, worries me like kind of way. She's just angry and she's just trying to walk it off.
Karis follows, giving KTP her space, just kind of making sure you don't go and technomance and blow things up as you go. And, there for a quick, flying getaway if things really go badly. Back at the base, the reformatted, rebuilt, redesigned former London Liverpool Street Station, which has now been turned into something like a G.I. Joe base for this group of Shadowrunners. Nico, you've just had what can be considered a difficult conversation with Lawrence. Where is Nico at?
And Nico's, this is all relationship stuff that she's never had to deal with before, that she's never been exposed to. This is family stuff. This is adult family stuff in a way. And, it's always just been her and the kids, and she was the adult. So understanding these kinds of relationships and how to navigate them in those roles. She doesn't get why KTP is so pissed. It's like, she doesn't see it. She's rethinking her conversation with Lawrence. That's dwelling on her mind a lot as well, and realizing that maybe she wasn't the friend to him that he needed, and I think also it's there's that little kind of nagging from her mentor spirit that when somebody comes to you with an honest need and request for help, that's what you do. You help them. You don't. And he had come to her with this honest need and this request, and she basically kind of brushed him off.
As you're having these thoughts, you see a wisp of smoke kind of move around you, just out of sight. Being more towards, you see it leave the kitchen and the area where you were in and almost move towards your personal space.
She gets up and follows.
Follow to the place you've set up where all your materials are, everything is set up, your lodge. And as you approach, it becomes your guardian spirit, the Firebringer. He just looks at you completely expressionless. There is no emotion going through his face. And he speaks in that deep, rumbling voice. You seem troubled.
How do you balance competing requests for help when you have two people that you care about coming to you and asking for your help, and they oppose each other? What do I do?
Will make a choice. I am of the belief that any request for help, any sincere request for help, must be respected. But in the end, the way in which you help is essentially up to you.
So it doesn't have to be the help that they're asking for, but the help that I'm able to give or that I think is best.
Sometimes the request is not what the person needs.
How do you know what they need?
You do your best and you make a choice based on what you know.
Peopling is hard.
Relationships are complicated, especially those among equals. Something that is still fairly new to you.
Kind of why I avoided them, I think.
Yet they are so rewarding.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think? What insight can you offer me in what
I
they
can't
want?
tell you what to choose. The only thing I can tell you is you stand at this very moment at a crossroad. Depending on who you choose to help and in which way you choose, relationships will change. Paths will diverge. Bonds may fray or they may break.
I owe them all
What you
so
have
much
to
in so
ask
many different
yourself,
ways.
what you have to ask yourself is, which of those matters most to you? At the end of the day, fulfilling requests asked of you with sincerity is important. And then he smiles as, but living with yourself is more important. You cannot stare and be happy with a person reflecting in a mirror. You can't help anyone.
All right.
Takes a step
Yeah.
back and fades.
And I think she stays in her room, which is where her lodge is. And she's got the door cracked open a couple of inches. And she's just kind of sitting on the floor with her knees drawn up, leaning back up against her bed, and is just with this new insight, reviewing her conversations with both with Lawrence and with KTP, and trying to decide how she can help them both and not lose them. And with the understanding, with the knowledge that helping them may not be in the way that they requested. Exactly.
Yeah. Still the same day, so I won't ask you to make another engineering roll. I'll still need to wait for a bit longer for you to continue your craft of this new movable platform, to call it something. Conversations were had, words were said, and someone stormed off, and now you've seen Nico also pretty much lock herself in a room. Where is Fear at? That's something of a perhaps co-conspirator with KTP in a way.
Oh yeah. Sphere is pondering. If I remember correctly, we have, there's that one particular area that's actually open to the sky, the one where Karis can occasionally take from. Yeah. Sphere will make their way over there and ponder, and specifically just set aside for the moment all the notions of what to build and technical things and engineering problems and power conversion equations, and just consider people for a little bit, because it's been a long time. Actually, I would say I don't know if Sphere has ever really felt like they belonged to a group before. Like everything else was just, getting together with people for a job, maybe a pair, or at best maybe 3 jobs, and then leaving it again because it either didn't work out, or maybe it was dangerous, or maybe they just prefer the company of electronics.
Fair to say that Fear preferred to surround themselves with technology rather than other people.
For a long time, yes, because people were a source of chaos and insecurity,
Logic.
and also frequently just a danger. Like, what if someone sells you out? Given the line of work Sphere has been in, it was always just a risk. So this group is, in their eyes, worth fighting for once, finally. But it seems like all of that fighting for the group is leading to fighting in the group. And there's a lot of thoughts running around their head about, okay, well, how can I do the one without causing the other? How can I redirect all the energy we're pouring into settling grievances with each other into symbiosis instead? That's it's one of those things that they're going to take the wheelchair up to that opening, lean back, look up, turn off everything. Just absolutely everything other than the couple of augments that need to keep running. Everything else just off. Even the comms off. Dead silence, and just stare up at the stars and think. And that's what they're doing at this point.
And Grifter, what is our enforcer doing? Last time Grifter went out, he came back with goodies and guns and equipment.
I know, but the problem is with all the fighting. If I do that now, I'm in a lot of trouble, right? He's stupid. He's not bloody stupid, right? That's.
He's got his reckless moments, but he's not a complete moron.
Exactly, right? So I guess, I mean, I'm probably walking around trying to find someone. Where is everyone? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily.
You know that KTP stormed out.
Stormed out, yeah.
You know that you saw Nico go into her room and essentially lock it.
No, she left the door open. She left the door cracked.
I mean, you left it cracked, but from an outsider's point of view, that door slid closed.
Yeah.
Or at least close enough. They'll allow you an intuition and perception check to see if you want to... If Grifter would look close enough to see that the door is still kind of open.
What we got there?
So it depends on if Grifter would do that.
Yeah, I think he would, yeah. So what's that, sorry?
Is it that?
Yeah, that counts.
Okay.
So that's what, 5.
No, it's 8.
Oh man, this stupid thing. Okay, this was not a good purchase.
Someone bought themselves a new dice holder and then I can't get the dice out of it.
Oh, rubbish. Oh, the cat nicked the other tray, right? So we had to get something else. I made that tray especially for rolling the damn dice in. And now, right, here we go. Right. I got one. There, one.
You notice that the door is slightly open.
Wow,
and you also, with that similar, you see that Sphere has gone up to the second floor, and
all right, so you're right, okay.
That's pretty much. Well, you don't know. They've gone up, but you don't know what they're doing.
All right, well, I think Grifter then is gonna sort of knock on the door and then sort of peek into the little crap. You know, everything all right in here?
There is another member of your group that you do see and approaches you. Dr. Watson just looks up to you.
So,
Is
she in there?
Hey, Grifter.
You all right?
Yeah, just I don't know what to do. I mean, I get where KTP is coming from, but Lawrence asked us for help. We owe them so much. I mean, we wouldn't have any of this without Lawrence and Malcolm. We'd have been dead.
That's true. But that's probably one of the main reasons we're still all hanging around together.
Is it?
I mean, it's nice having a group, right? But we're all solo before. So I guess, you know, Malcolm and Lawrence have kind of molded us a little bit. It was always going to be, what's the word? Friction at some point. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. Everybody looks at something differently. But, I mean, yeah, we should be trying to help, right?
But this job, I mean...
This job's going nowhere.
But this is the job that the Jackal said we had to do in order to help.
Yeah. And it's got trap and disaster written all over it. While you was away, well, you know about the stabbing incident. And the contact I was given by, what was the name? Miranda, was Patrick O'Connell's personal hotline. I'm going to be honest. I'm tempted to give it a call, see where it led to, but I'm aware of the danger that puts everyone in, so I haven't done yet. But it stinks of a trap.
Yeah, but he owes us. Or we can make it. No, he does. We can, I think he's inclined to help us. I think he might be inclined to help us.
You really think so?
Was Griff out of character? Was Grifter there when KTP and Nico delivered the file to Pedrick at the gym?
That's his brother. That was his
that
brother.
was actually Patrick Arnold. You don't know the name of the dwarven blondie. The only name you have is Patrick O'Connell, who's the human one.
Okay.
So was Grifter there though at the gym when we delivered that stuff?
That was just KTP and Nico.
Okay. The look on his face. I think he might help us.
Right. So obviously I was given this number by someone that went through the same genetic process, whatever that was that I went through. So this is all about cyberware and being a better killer than anything else. This wasn't a hand of friendship kind of situation. So I don't know. It's either going to go really well or really badly.
There's got to be an in-between. I mean, maybe we can...
Shit. I've even bought a burner phone just to make the phone call. But I haven't done it yet.
Has Grifter told KTP about this phone number yet?
Yes.
In contact, yeah.
Yeah, you know, didn't you?
Yeah, I think you told me. Yes.
Yeah.
KTP and Sphere.
And nobody wants me to make that phone call.
I think you should make the phone call, but I think we need to wait for KTP to get back. And so that she's there.
She's going to lose her shit.
Try to explain it to her before. This is the only break in this case in this job that we've got. This is the only opening we've got.
I agree. And it has the bonus of maybe upping my abilities a little bit, which I like the sound of. So that's a little bit selfish, I know, but
everybody wants to get, I'm trying to improve myself. If we're going to help Lawrence help Malcolm, then I think it's worth the risk. But I think we need to see if we can get KTP to understand that.
Unless we didn't tell her.
That has never quite worked out well for us. If we're gonna be this, a group, a team, friends, then we can't go behind each other's backs on something like this.
Which is, you know, the main reason I haven't made the phone call yet.
Nico's going to get on our comm to KTP.
Does KTP reply?
She ignores the call but fires back a message just saying what?
Come home. Let's talk.
So she replies, I talked, you didn't like what I had to say.
So let's reevaluate. Come home. Let's talk.
So she replies just soon, that's it, and then just switches off her comms.
Nico, let Griffin know. She said she'll be back soon.
All right, then we wait.
Question: does KTP turn off her comm physically, or just, you know, a simple technomancer thing of disabling it with her mind?
No, I think she probably would have turned it off physically because the technomancer thing sometimes still doesn't come naturally. I think if she's in a heightened state of kind of emotion, she wouldn't think, if that makes sense.
Karis notices you turning it off and taps you on the shoulder and essentially signs what's going on.
So KTP signs back saying, Nico wants to talk, but I don't know if I'm ready yet.
He signs, you can't put it off forever.
She signs back saying, but I can put it off for another 10 minutes, and smiles at him.
He shrugs. He shrugs and it just continues following you.
So I guess we just wander around for another 10 minutes and then slowly go back home.
You return home, and as you continue you make your way either towards Nico's room or the common area. Karis peels off and heads upstairs to his kind of vantage point, just looking over all of you. Here. You're
Yes.
pondering, and you see that the door to the base opens. KTP walks in, and Karis as well, and he comes up to where you are. He signs using the new gloves and the new tech that KTP developed. And in your comm, you see the text transcript of what he's saying. He's asking, you okay?
I'll just sign back that I'm thinking.
Just gives you a thumbs up and turns around and just leans over the railing to look down at what is bound to be a spectacle.
Oh boy. Do we... I've just had an idea. We now have a way for us to understand Karis more easily. A cochlear implant is going to be a hard thing to figure out, isn't it? Or anything of the sort.
Cochlear implants exist in this world as well.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that Karis is a little bit of a more specialized case here.
Yes. Karis was pulled out of his like maturing process because he was literally pulled out of a gestation pod, and where he was basically grown from scratch, and pulling him out caused certain let's call it genetic issues. They manifested in his the fact that he can't hear, and along the way further issues with his wings and the other things that he can do.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. I would say give it about 2 minutes or so.
reveal a bit of behind the scenes for everyone. One of the things that didn't mature enough with Karis was the what would have been a very firmly programmed sense of loyalty towards the organization that gestated him, and a killer instinct. But Karis is a sweet boy.
A very sweet boy who just happens to be able to punch through walls.
But feels guilty if he has to do it.
Poor wall. But no, just I would say give it maybe 2 minutes. And when Sphere's gonna roll over and just gently nudge Karis.
Turns around.
Move back a little bit and just sign. God, how would I phrase this? Would sign, how do you keep calm?
Smile. And at the end, just kind of shrugs and tells you, what other option do I have?
There's kind of a knowing, yeah, followed by, do you ever get mad at us?
All the time.
How do you not punch us?
What would that accomplish? Just hurt you, hurt me, and nothing gets solved.
There's just like this immediate, oh. And Sphere will ask, can I steal your words?
Drugs.
And start to leave and then turn around and go, wait, can you say that to the others? They need to hear it.
He just looks at you and then just shrugs and follows along.
Okay. At which point Sphere will actually switch on the comms again and start to head down to our general kitchen / living area.
As very much walks beside you and, lets you do your thing. Bot is there, in case you need him. But unless you ask, he's not gonna do anything or assume anything. You come downstairs, and KTP, where are you heading?
Yeah, probably to the communal area.
Nico, I would say you left your door kind of open because you were kind of waiting for KTP to return, and she in fact does so.
Yeah, she after her talk with Grifter, she went back to her room and she's been looking at cooking videos. So she's in the process of being in the kitchen, trying to follow a cooking video because she's still not real good at reading. So she doesn't know how to do a recipe. So she's trying to follow this video, and the kitchen is a fucking disaster. It's just a disaster because coffee and bacon and eggs, I think, is about the limit of her.
Sphere was asking if Karas ever gets upset. He takes one look at the kitchen, does go wide, and he takes a deep breath.
Well, especially because Nico tried shepherd's pie, and there's just the flour and just everything everywhere.
Yep. Dr. Watson is now fully white.
He is keeping the floor clean, though.
I'm sure in the kitchen. When he gets out of the kitchen, that's another matter entirely.
Sphere unrolling into the kitchen is going to make a point of going over to Watson and just patting the side 2-3 times real hard. Just that sort of
you just pat him a couple and then you go like
hey Nico, you're not planning to you're not cooking Watson, are you?
No,
Cat turns to you, goes wow.
No, I am. Well, everybody's so tall, and the flour was way up there, and I was trying to grab the flour, and it fell. But I managed to save enough for the crust. She's putting what kind of looks like a crust.
I mean, I'm not much of a cooker myself, but do you want me to build you a step ladder?
Oh, I just can climb up onto the counter.
Do you want me to build you a step ladder because feet aren't supposed to be on the counter?
Well, how else do you reach the top shelf?
With a step ladder.
But then you still have to lean.
Nico, I say this as somebody who's often covered in oil and grime. Have you been introduced to the basic rules of hygiene in the kitchen?
At this point, Grifter walks behind Sphere and just goes, wasting your time.
Yeah, you wash your hands. You wash your hands. You don't
wash your hands.
I don't
keep
take
the countertop clean. You don't put your feet on anything.
Well, I mean,
if it touches the ground, it doesn't touch the food.
No, that's what Dr. Watson's for.
Dr. Watson doesn't touch the food, right?
Only the food that's on the ground. And she just kind of swipes a bit of carrot onto the floor. Like, see?
You're all fortunate that Dr. Watson is genetically engineered and thus can pretty much eat anything. Even the things that even a milligram would kill a cat, Dr. Watson's fine.
He's got the constitution of a billy goat.
But your feet were on the ground.
Yeah, that's where they go.
So they should stay on the ground.
Well, no, I mean, I wiped down the counter after, see?
I'll get you a step ladder.
Oh, okay. I don't need it anymore, but okay.
You will need it in the future, and I don't want to have to build one on short notice.
And the whole time the video's been running, and she realizes, oh shit, she's gotta go back.
Right. Look, the kitchen's the same thing as a workshop. You got to have structure and organization. And
Have you seen my lodge?
unfortunately,
I know where everything is. It's fine.
the rest of us need to know it too.
I will put everything back where it came from.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you put together. And I mean that.
Oh, it's shepherd's pie. It'll be ready and she fast forwards to the cooking time. Okay, 90 minutes, and then rewinds back to where she thinks she was in the video.
Sphere is going to smile, turn around, leave, and immediately pull up the number for their favorite takeout place just in case. It's like whatever place is nearby.
The look on
nice
Karaz's face
tandoori.
is skepticism times 1,000. He is looking at that oven like, oh dear.
KTP said that she's always taking care of us. So I want to do something to take care of her. So I'm cooking dinner.
When you say take care of her, are we talking kind of take care of her, or
A Rottweiler, yeah.
No, I'm making dinner.
okay? It looks good.
Thank you. She goes back to cooking, making dinner. And eventually we'll get it in the oven. I will roll whatever you want, Kevin.
Right now. Oh, this is gonna be pure blind luck.
Go for it.
Make this a logic and intuition.
Oh crap! Logic is something that she absolutely sucks at. But okay.
And because you're haphazardly following a recipe on essentially YouTube,
Yeah.
while not being exactly able to read everything, you're gonna add one wild die to this.
Okay.
As a reminder, the wild die should be a different color. If you roll a 1 on the wild die, all the 5s and 6s are taken away. But if you roll a 5 or a 6 on a wild die, counts as 3 successes.
So I rolled a 1 on the wild die.
Delightful.
So that takes away just the 5s, right?
Yeah, just the 5s. I will
Okay,
double check, but I think it's just the 5s. Give me a moment.
So that takes it from 2 hits to 1 hit. I rolled 4 dice, so 25%, not bad.
In total, how many ones? Worth asking.
The only one was the 1 on the wild dice. I rolled a 2, 4, 5, and 6. She's trying.
Just the 5s.
Okay.
It's edible. It's competent enough that no one will have food poisoning after eating it.
Good.
But it's amateurish. It's an amateur's work.
The edges are burnt. The bottom is soggy. It's cooked, but a little cool in places.
It's edible.
The meaty part, it's, let's say, medium rare.
Hmm.
It's not bad.
All right, Sphere will basically take the plate and just so I just like it a little bit hotter. Pops in the microwave for 10 seconds and then discreetly wipes the number for the takeout place. Like, you know what, this is good enough.
And Nico, I think she has done her best to clean the kitchen as best as she can while it was cooking. So
As you're cleaning, you see Dr. Watson reach up and just grab a plate and just
wooden spoon,
Right.
smack.
uh,
She takes the plate, dishes it up, puts it on the floor for Dr. Watson.
and scarfs down the entire thing. Now you've had a home cooked meal that I'm going to guess was eaten in the most uncomfortable silence ever imagined. And now you're all sitting having what I'm going to make a call is the last bits of the coffee you all mooched from Harley.
Oh no.
Yeah, because Nico's trying. I think after dinner, Nico kind of takes all the plates and puts them in the sink and rinses them. And then she looks at KTP and she goes, "What do you need from us?"
I need you all to just listen and understand
What is it you want us to understand?
that everything I do and have done has been with this group at the forefront of my mind.
Why?
Because apparently we're meant to be a family and that's what families do, although we haven't really been doing a very good job of that lately.
So you always put family ahead of yourself.
I would have thought that was obvious.
So how do you know what's best for the family? I mean, if what isn't what's best for the family as a whole isn't good for an individual within the family.
Families aren't perfect. There's always going to be situations that just don't work out how we want them to or aren't as easy to fix. But what else can you do?
I'll allow you to make an intuition willpower roll.
Who? KTP or
KTP.
Yeah.
See if KTP can have a moment of sudden insight.
What are we going for here?
intuition?
6 and 6. Ready? You?
5. All right.
I'm going to ask you a question and tell me what KTP thinks. When Nico asked that question that you said would be obvious, you know, what would the family needs? What went through KTP's mind? That it was a weird question, perhaps?
Yeah, weird in that it was kind of being asked. I think, as far as KTP is concerned, she thought that it was obvious that everything she did was for the family. So I think on one hand it was kind of a bit like, why are you asking me this? And then in the next big second going, am I not putting that across? Kind of thing, like questioning herself.
What you realize in this moment, thinking on that question, is that you look at the people around you. You don't know Sphere's history, but you do know that Nico lived an entire life on the streets without an actual family. And Grifter was in an orphanage that burned down, and since then he's been on his own. The insight you get in this moment is that the only person in this room who has had an actual family and in the experience of being in a family is you.
Yeah, but I think to her, in a way, that kind of makes it worse because she's had that experience and that's the experience she's been trying to give to the rest of the group. So the fact that that question's being asked and it can't be seen, she doesn't know whether that's kind of the group taking it for granted or maybe she's not making it obvious enough.
I'm going to tell you, because you have 5 successes, is the insight you get is that they don't understand it. They don't have the frame of reference.
Then she just goes
That
quiet.
becomes, just saying, that becomes clear as you look at the faces around you, which I'm going to guess, in particular from Nico, is confusion, perhaps.
As you go quiet, there goes the cat.
That's Dr. Watson.
Now, as you go quiet, and I assume everything just kind of stays quiet for a bit, Sphere is gonna look over at Karis, look around the table, and just go, yeah, so. So we've all. Shut up, Watson. We've all occasionally done things that we thought were best. And we figured, oh, well, clearly I'm doing this because. And we end up hurting each other. And I had a very enlightening moment earlier with Karis. And no, it wasn't just because. Just, don't make any jokes here. But I asked our dear friend why, because we clearly don't always do things that make everyone happy, and I asked why Karis doesn't actually get angry at us or do something about it. Karis, could you repeat what you said to me?
He looks at you and you get the feeling like he's just, okay, oh, now you've put me on the spot. Wonderful.
No, oh, God.
But he doesn't say, it just looks at you like, awesome. Like, you wanted me angry, great. He just sighs and just signs to you. What I said was, what would getting angry achieve?
Yeah. And you also said that doing anything about it negatively would only hurt you and us. I kind of get the feeling that we've just been hurting ourselves and each other a lot. And it took staring at the stars and hearing the wisdom of someone far better than I to do that.
A lot of
Everybody's
smiles, but everyone's quiet.
And Nico's still, she's like, but I don't. And she's addressing this to KTP. She's like, but we've made decisions together, right? That's the way this works. Isn't that the way is that the way families work? We all decide together.
But you weren't here.
So
We've all been told how Malcolm's in this critical situation and how things won't, we can't sit and just wait around. So much so that you had us go and scope out the building on the first night. Then all of a sudden you disappear for 2 weeks. What the hell am I meant to do? I have to do something.
do you?
I did what I thought was best. We've all been put into this situation where we have to go into this building. I haven't got a clue what's in there. It has some of the strongest defenses I've ever seen in my life. All because we want to save Malcolm. So I did what I thought I could do to save Malcolm. This was never about Lawrence. This was never about getting at Lawrence. It was hoping that I would find something to lead us to Malcolm so we could go directly to him and find out what's going on. Maybe if we could just talk to him, he would listen to us.
Why would he listen to us instead of Lawrence?
I don't know, but what else can we do? We have to try.
Well, I mean, but Grifter's got the number to Patrick O'Connell. Let's get him to help us with this job. See what he can do for us.
And you honestly think that's a wise idea? After everything we've been involved with that family?
I'm not saying we go to his family. I'm saying we go to Patrick. Remember the look on his face when you gave him that file?
And remember what I just said about family.
So what do we do? What's best for this family then? We just walk away?
I don't know, but right now I'm fed up with being put in situations where I feel like I have no control.
I mean, we're all put in that position.
No, you're not. Like, when we go into these situations and, we say like we arrive at this building, there's a shootout. You three got each other's backs. Fine. Me, I go into the Matrix and I'm alone. I have no idea what I'm going to come up against. I have no idea whether I'm going to overcome it or even if I'm going to make it back out again. I've got no one in there watching me. Do you not realize how lonely that is?
I actually hadn't considered that.
So what can we do to change that? What do you want? What do you need from us, KP? What do you want from us to make it better for you?
Right now, I don't know if anyone can make it better.
Nico,
Is there a way for
I'm going to offer you the same opportunity for a moment of insight. Please make a Wisdom and intuition roll.
Nico?
Yes.
Okay.
Allow me to add more fuel to this fire.
Intuition and I don't see wisdom.
Willpower, sorry.
Willpower. Okay.
Willpower and intuition.
Willpower and intuition. Okay. I can do that. That's 4 hits.
Hits, that's tremendous. I'm going to give you 2 items.
Okay.
And Nico, you can do with those as you see fit. What KTP has just said about being on their own in the Matrix and while doing the whammy. Nico, it's the same for you if a spirit or something magical shows up. You're on your own. Secondly, looking back to all your previous experiences, not a single time in any of your missions have you ever been put in a situation. Let me rephrase that. For the vast majority of your jobs, which you're Shadowrunners, you are mercenaries doing jobs. For the vast majority of your jobs, the bulk of the danger of dealing with danger has been on Nico, Sphere. Actually, no, Nico, Grifter, and at the time Sleek. Sphere has been in the fray, but for the most part, KTP has not faced mortal danger as much as the rest. Always staying behind and doing things from the outside.
I have to ask, as far as the Matrix and Shadowrun goes, how dangerous is it actually to just get taken out there?
So it depends. For a Decker, you can interact, even a Technomancer can interact with the Matrix in 2 ways: augmented reality and virtual reality. In augmented reality, you can see icons and tags for all the things that you can see. It allows you to interact with the physical world through the Matrix. Virtual reality, you need it if you're going to dive into a host, if you're going to go into the computer systems of a company or a place, into their own, basically their intranet. In virtual reality, there are 2 ways to run VR: cold sim and hot sim. Cold sim, all the damage that you take is stun damage. And if you get taken out, you're knocked out. In hot sim, you actually suffer biofeedback damage. For the most part, you also get damage in stun, but you can also get damage physical. The advantages are you get a boatload of initiative dice, which means you can do multiple actions and a bunch of stuff. Technomancers cannot run VR cold sim because they dive into the Matrix with their own self. So they have far greater degree of control, but they are in more present danger. In terms of hosts, there are attack programs. For the most part, they deal matrix damage, which is for the purposes of a Technomancer stun damage. For Decker, that they have their own track for matrix damage. But if you are in a very heavy-duty system, you may find all things you find that attack you in a matrix host are called ICE or IC. It's intrusion countermeasure. The most dangerous of those are the ones called black IC. Those, when they hit you, they fry your brain. They deal direct physical damage. So in that case, if you die in the game, you die in real life. So the Matrix is dangerous, but also, Deckers and Technomancers have a bunch of stuff at their disposal. And they can always, unless someone locks them into a host, they can always, retreat. If they are locked, they actually need to reboot or, forcefully break the connection, which deals damage.
So with these insights, Nika's like, okay, you're alone and you're taking those risks alone. Right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And when we run up against magic shit, I have to do that alone. How many times have I gone in undercover alone?
Every single job we do ends up being reliant on the Matrix. KTP, unlock this. KTP, turn off the cameras. KTP, do this. Go and get the file. Go and... It's just too much. It's too much. It's so much responsibility all the time. Every single job. Like this job right now. We need a data file. It happens to be on a server that we can't access unless I'm in the building and I'm in the Matrix. Like every single job. I'm just tired. I'm so tired of all of this shit.
And every time somebody gets hurt,
Yeah.
I'm healing.
Exactly.
Protecting.
Every time someone
Every
gets
time.
hurt.
Yes, every time. But that's if that's what family is. Everybody has a place in the family. We do it for the family, but we all have our own jobs and our own place within the family, what we do. Right?
Right?
Okay. Because family, I don't, it was me and kids. That was my family.
Okay, but
I was the grown up. I was the one responsible for making sure that they got fed, that they had a safe place to sleep, and that nobody fucked with them. That was my family. That's what I know of family. I take care of the family with what I have. That's what I try to do with, if this is family, that's what I try to do with this family, is take care, to protect you guys as best I can. I can't protect in the Matrix. My magic doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
I get it, but what do you think I was doing by trying to get to Malcolm? if I could find something out from Lawrence and get to him directly and talk to him, then none of you would be put in this situation where we have to go in that building and someone comes out hurt again.
Malcolm doesn't want to talk to us. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. Lawrence is going against what Malcolm wants.
So then if Malcolm doesn't want to talk to anybody, why are we even bothering with this? Because surely we're just going to get the money, give it to Lawrence. Lawrence is going to try and talk to Malcolm. Malcolm doesn't want to talk. We're still back in this situation.
No, he's trying.
Okay, two things here. First of all, I find it hilariously ironic that the two of you are talking about what great risks you take when the two of us who have been brought closest to expiration the most haven't been addressed.
That's not fair.
Yeah, fuck you, Spear.
That's not fair. You're here
Oh.
I'm here
because
we stay together.
because I was there and I
Yes.
can do that.
And I appreciate that. And I have expressed my gratitude to you. And I've expressed my gratitude to each and every one of you who helps keep me alive.
We all put ourselves at risk. We all
Yes.
have our own things that we do that we're good at and we do it at risk. If you don't want to do this anymore, KTP, fine.
No, stop.
No, I seriously, if this is not what you want to do, if you don't want to take those risks anymore, then don't. We'll work around it. We have to go get a file, fine. We have Pedro O'Connell's name. He's attached to this. We can call him and call in a favor for bringing him that file on his family so that he has that last contact. We have ways around it if you don't want to do this.
Or if someone's tired of all the lifting they have to do, maybe we can learn to ask other people for help, like each other.
What
If
is
someone is saying, I've had enough of this, I can't do it on my own anymore, then instead of getting angry at each other and accusing each other, and maybe it's time we just said, hey, can you help?
what was the first question I asked?
At this
What do
point,
you
KTP
need?
bursts into tears because I think Sphere has hit a nerve.
What is it you need? That's what I asked. What do you need?
And she just carries on crying. She's not kind of listening to anything that's being said around her at the moment. I think she's just kind of in herself right now.
You could just kind of,
It was definitely something I said.
she goes over to the bar and she pulls out a bottle of whatever and a glass and just puts them in front of KTP and then goes to her room. She doesn't close the door, but she just goes to her room. Because sitting there watching her cry doesn't accomplish anything.
Mm. No, jokes aside, though, this was definitely something I said. What's going on?
How many times do I have to say that I'm tired before someone listens?
We've been listening.
Yeah, you did just now, but Nico still doesn't get it. She keeps asking me what I need, and I just need a break. I've said that.
Okay.
You know?
Forgive me. The engineer is breaking out in a bit of pedantry here. You've repeatedly said that you're tired and that you don't like doing it alone, but at no point did you actually say you just want a fucking break. And I think we're working a lot on requiring people to understand implications and inferences instead of just outright saying shit. You want a break? I support it. I want a fucking break. So tell us how we can give you that break.
So I think at this point she reaches over to the kitchen counter, grabs another
Mhm.
glass, and pours 2 drinks. I know that Grifter's there as well, but he's
Grifter
obviously
ain't saying
he's clearly
nothing.
like feeling awkward as kind of blended into the background, so she's not even registered that he's still there.
Harris walks away.
Oh no.
He heads off to the second floor, opens the skylight, and leaves.
That's a pretty clear signal. That was out of character, just to be fair. Yeah. You need a break. What do we do?
We're back. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm really close to sneezing. Hay fever's been really bad this week.
I mean, I think that's a perfect segue for us to take our 10-minute break. So we're back in 10 minutes with the rest of this family. I don't know what to call it. Therapy session. Back in 10 with the rest of our story. See you in a bit. And we're back. So, to recap, KTP is crying. Sphere has just told everyone to be sensible and use common sense and realize how rare that actually is. Nico has, pulled the Nico, which is drop booze and leave. And Karis just left. KTP, you got a few other glasses and were serving. There is a little chirp from any of your computer systems, and a face appears on one of the screens, and it's Pixelsworth, the AI that lives in your host, the 8-bit butler. And appears as, sorry, hello, madam. I seem to have come at a rather inopportune time. Just want to say hello. I'm back. I will go away now. Bye bye. Shuts off, and then shows us, unless there is something I can do for you.
I'll come and talk to you in a moment, Pixelsworth.
All right, and shuts off. Yes, the group had liberated an AI from a bank. His name is Pixelsworth, and he's an 8-bit butler. And you then drink, I suppose, in this really uncomfortable silence.
And Nico will come back out after like 20 minutes or so. She just kind of needed to, nothing was happening as long as KTP was crying. And sitting there and watching KTP cry and this conversation not happening is like needing to kind of separate from that.
Out of character, when Nico comes back into the room, can she come and sit next to KTP?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think she would. I think she would, if not next to her, then like directly in front of her so that their knees are touching. And
okay, so KTP looks at Nico and looks the director in the eyes and just mouths, "Watch this." And then KTP goes, "Grifter, what do you think about it all?"
Well, I was I was listening.
Right, so what do you think about everything we've been saying?
The pie was nice. Shall I make the phone call?
I'm going to allow you the same role I have allowed others tonight.
I was going to go Pete Tong. This is
It's going to be intuition and willpower to see if Grifter also gains a moment of insight.
no insight.
Oh no.
Here we go, people. New improved stats, right? I've got 3.
Grifter, you have to your own surprise, you have a firm grasp on the situation.
Oh, okay.
You get what Fear has been saying. Everyone's been assuming shit. No one's been talking clear. And KTP feels like all the jobs depend on her. And she's tired.
I think like at this point, KTP is still looking at Nico, trying not to laugh.
I know I'm
Nico's
not-
looking at KTP, but out of her side, she's just enjoying watching Grifter go. Doing that whole fish thing.
I want to. I have asked before if I could be helpful, and then I got stabbed in the stomach when I was trying to be helpful, and then I didn't make a big fuss about it. But I get what you're saying. But shall I make the phone call? And the pie was quite nice.
I can make that again.
Do it.
How is it that someone can so completely understand the situation and so completely fail to respond to it?
Only Grifter. You know what? For that beautiful moment, I'm just gonna give Pete. I'm just gonna give you 2 edge. That sheer demonstration of 100% purely distilled Grifter.
What can I say? So he gets a little bit more composure. I haven't been put on the spot. And he comes up and does just about emotionally all you're going to get from him. And he just puts his hand on KTP's shoulder. I guess I'm behind, aren't I? Yeah, I'm sort of sitting at the back, kind of, oh no, it's all going. Just sort of like, I'm sorry. I'll try and be more supportive in future.
I think KTP is so shocked, he doesn't know what to say.
I would suppose that the two of you went from smug to short circuit.
Well, I mean, you could do the dishes.
See, the problem is I got like metal hands and they like rust and that.
We'll get you some rubber gloves.
Rubber gloves.
Yeah, there's rubber gloves in there.
Are they not stainless?
Couldn't afford stainless.
Oh God, you poor man.
Okay.
But I've been saving for upgrades, but this family stuff's expensive, isn't it?
Nico's going to get Grifter a chrome manicure for Christmas.
Yeah, we gotta get that shit plated. Okay.
So I get you're tired and you think that it all rests on you, right? Is that it?
I am tired, you're right.
She pours a drink, hands it to Grifter,
Oh, thanks.
and looks back at KTP.
No, right, I'm probably going to regret doing this, but she goes, you know what? And she looks at Grifter and she says, maybe we should just let Grifter lead for once.
Make the phone call.
For real?
So the screen chirps as soon as the screen chirps up and Pixel's words are there, eyes wide. Goes, oh dear, the situation is more desperate than I thought.
Hang on. You know what? I think this may actually be the best thing. This whole time we keep talking about family and trust and helping each other. When's the last time we really trusted Grifter?
Exactly.
I mean, I trust you fully at all times.
I don't trust you at all, just so we're clear.
Really? What? Not even a little bit?
I've known you for years.
You have known me for years, and have I ever let you down?
Do you want me to answer that?
In email form only.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
No, but seriously, we're always asking each other for guarantees and how do you know this is going to work? And it's never just, you know what, go ahead and I'll back you up. You have a point.
Right now, Grifter does have our only lead in doing this.
I think at this point, like kind of Sphere, Nico and KTP all turn to like stare at Grifter. That's synchronized.
so what's left of the drink? Bosh. It's like, I'll make the call.
No, you don't. Not yet. And she gets up and walks out. And she goes to track down Karis. Because she's very aware of the conversation that they had before she started working on the software for him, about where he said that he always feels like he's on the outside.
He's not there. He opened the skylight and left.
Okay, so she sends him a message just saying, thinking of you, and then goes back to the group. So what are we waiting for?
Do you want me to call him?
Whoa.
Depends how you want to play it.
I mean, this number was given to me with a view to contacting him for work rather than. So, I mean, I'm guessing it's his number, but someone in his position has probably got more than one phone, right? So I'm assuming if he gets a call on this number, it's going to be the sort of nasty, stabby, killy hotline rather than the, hey, you ain't seen us in a while kind of.
Yeah, but he didn't see you.
No.
All right, so, all right, well, give him a call and then, tell him.
So I've got this burner phone that I bought for this out of character. This is. Is that safe enough to use within the base, or do I need to sort of go
You bought
elsewhere?
the most powerful common money can buy. It gives you a total of 8 dice to resist any shenanigans.
So if everyone's happy with that, then I'll do it. Or should I, I'm thinking of being traced, and then he goes, oh, look, there's the back cave.
Here's the safest place. Do you not want to do this, KTP? I mean, this is
Right.
our chance to get in without having to rely on
Then
your
I
ability.
suggest that Grifter takes the lead. Sphere's right. We need to start trusting each other. So there you go, Grifter.
Well, it's
I'm
either,
trusting you.
to my mind, it's either this or we just get tooled up and we roll down there. I'm guessing people are not overly keen on the let's go and have it kind of attitude. So we could try the sneaky phone call method.
Unless you want us all shooting up your new girlfriend, maybe the call's
She's
better.
not my girlfriend, although I do think she liked me. But that aside. So
As you were discussing this, Karis returns. Closes the skylight.
Okay. So while I guess the group's debating whether to call from here or call from another location, KTP gets up to go find Karis again.
You find him pretty much where he, leaning over the rail, kind of his vantage point.
So she smiles at him and signs to him saying, "We need you."
Tell him he's part of the family too.
He looks you straight in the eye and just signs, "No, you don't." Signs, "You've never needed me before. That's not going to change. That's not going to change now."
So she signs back whatever expletives that she knows. And then followed by "come."
He follows you.
So we go back to the kitchen. She pulls out a chair for Karis so he can sit down. And then she signs to him kind of what's happened to get him up to speed. And then signs to him saying, "What do you think?"
He signs 3 things. One, he signs if Grifter wants to give it a go, give it a go. 2 is you're worried about the danger of being in the Matrix and worried about being vulnerable outside. I'll come with you and focus on covering you. And I asked the details. I know you're tired, but sadly we live in a digital world. The Matrix is everywhere. Everything is in the Matrix. Basically giving you hard truth. And the last thing says, if you don't want to deal with Lawrence, why don't you just call Malcolm directly?
So KTP turns around to look at Nico at this point. To kind of like gauge sort of what she thinks about that idea.
You can't tell Malcolm what Lawrence has asked us to do. We can't betray his trust in us. You can talk to, I call Malcolm, ask him how he's doing, what's going on. But you can't mention about Lawrence because that's betraying Lawrence's trust.
So KTP says that to the whole group. Like, so what do? We have 2 options.
Dr. Watson, of course. There are many Dr. Watsons tonight.
I think Watson's been showing up a lot.
That's his other power, he clones. But every time he clones, he gets smaller.
We've been underestimating that cat.
Terribly so.
Okay, well, what do the rest of us think? I don't like the notion of, after everything we've been talking about just now, making plans to go behind someone else's back. At the same time, some people make really terrible choices.
Shall I just make the phone call?
Yeah.
I'm going to make the phone call.
You need to check with Carrie's first.
Well, you said, didn't you?
But you also said to phone Malcolm, and she signs to Carrie saying, Sphere says to make the call, Grifter says to make the call. Nico doesn't want to involve Lawrence if we call Malcolm. Like, what's your decision? You're part of the team.
Next one says, I don't know much about Lawrence, but it did help Sphere when he became injured. The problem is, I agree with not betraying his trust, but I'm speaking slowly because he's signing very slowly. Like, he's contemplating every word he's saying. Allow all of you, if you wish, to make an intuition and perception roll. You can get a bit of an insight on Karis.
Nico did get up and
Well,
get a
you're
serving
one.
of shepherd's
Okay.
pie, warmed it up,
You-
and put it in
you
front of
have it.
Karis so he could eat. Intuition and willpower?
Intuition and perception.
Oh, intuition and perception. Okay, cool.
I have trouble believing just how often in this particular game I end up rolling the precise sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is ridiculous.
So 2 hits.
2 hits.
4 for Pete and 1 for me.
3 for Nico.
For KTP, you think he's just, a bit contemplative, just dealing with everything that's been going on. For everyone else who rolled higher, you can feel the tension coming off camera. Like, and Nico, for you, very clearly, you get that he's been put in this position where his opinion matters, and he's trying his best to make that opportunity worth something. Like, he's trying to be as respectful and responsible in the situation. To the point where he's kind of stressing himself out. What he says
So-
is, he mentions not betraying Lawrence's trust, but what he is worried is that if don't give Malcolm something, or mention it or bring up the subject, that we won't find out the truth of the situation.
do we all have the ability to use the new communication system that KTP set up for Karis? Do we all
It
have
works
access
both
to that?
ways. So you can,
Okay.
for example, you can type and he'll see it. I mean, text works, but you can talk and it has a voice recognition that transforms it into text for him. Though you don't need to worry because you know that while you are in front of him, he usually reads your lips.
Right. So I think as this is being relayed, what he's saying is being relayed. Nico being Nico and very casual, just kind of hops up on the table next to him, taps him on the shoulder. And when he turns to her, she puts her arms around him, gives him a quick hug, and then leans back and looks at him. Says, "You are family. You are a part of us. You matter. What you think, what you feel matters, and is just as important as the rest of us."
Smiles, nods, but you can see the like a tear.
She just reaches up, brushes it away, pulls him just like she would one of her kids, and just puts her hands on his face, on the forehead, and eat, and points to the shepherd's pie. And then she'll look at KTP. If you're gonna call Malcolm, and we need to bring up Lawrence, then let me call Lawrence first and tell him so that he's not blindsided by this. Because that's what's been happening. We're all getting blindsided by stuff that we don't see coming.
I didn't say to call Malcolm. I said trust Grifter. You know, she's not saying that to kind of be flippant, just in that she's trying to kind of show Grifter that she sort of meant what she said. But she's kind of suggested that Grifter lead, and she's going to support him.
Yeah, Grifter calling the number, I'm 100% behind that. But you're wanting to talk to Malcolm.
I didn't. No, Carrie suggested it. Carrie said, "Oh, you mean like directly?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but I meant like, you know, in person, not necessarily over the phone.
Well, you're going to have to call him to get an in-person meeting with him.
No, I was going to track down where he was. But obviously that didn't work.
So if you want to talk to him, then call him directly. But we need to let Lawrence know that we're calling him directly.
But I wanted to talk to him to avoid us all having to be in this situation. Grifter's potentially got another way out.
Okay. Look, what do you want to do, KTB, with this? Do we follow Grifter's path and try to get this job done? Or do you want to talk to Malcolm first and find out what's going on?
But no one says we can't do both. But, you know, there's no immediate need to speak to Malcolm right now if we don't want to. The reason why I did that was because you weren't here, Sphere was hurt, Grifter was being Grifter and shooting stuff and getting stabbed. And I did what I thought I needed to do to remove everyone from the situation, i.e. track down Malcolm and talk to him directly. If Grifter thinks that he's got another way, maybe we should just trust him to do that. There's nothing to say we can't find Malcolm later today, tomorrow, next week.
I'm just saying, if you decide that that's what you want to do, give me a chance to talk to Lawrence first to let him know that that's what you're going to do. Okay?
So, look, if that call is going to be made, you'll be the mum making the call. Okay? You'll know.
Okay. And she looks at Kara. She goes, "Is this okay with you?"
Richard just looks around you and just shrugs. Like, okay.
Sometimes that's all you can say, right?
Sphere, what do you think?
I think we're in a situation where the longer we postpone, the more nasty shit is going to be arrayed against us. The more we try to take back alley roads, we're going to discover that those back alleys are littered with bad shit. I'm gonna say I'm with KTP on this one. Let's just trust Grifter. Let's see what comes of it. And if we need to change tack afterwards, we can still do it. But why not just give this a shot?
Nico looks at Grifter and goes, "See, told you." Make the call.
Okay. So before I do, one last thing. Am I pretending that I want work, or am I going in as it's us, we did you a favor, scratch your back, scratch mine, that kind of thing?
Well,
Whichever one feels right to you.
but just remember that he doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So it's work, set up a meet.
You want new tech anyway, don't you?
Ideally. All right, so set up a meeting, yeah? All right, so Grifter makes the phone call, god damn it.
You make the call, it rings a couple times, and then you hear a voice saying, "Yes, this is Patrick O'Connell."
I was given your number by a mutual friend. I'd like to arrange a meet to discuss.
I need you to roll those 8 dice that I told you.
Yeah, I thought I might need to do that. That's why I've already got them out. See? Shit. I got a 1.
You also are in your home base, which has a few protections covering your signal. So you have an extra 4 dice to roll.
I'm going to roll 4 more.
You got 2 edge.
Oh, yeah, I've got 2 edge. Right, I'm going to use the 2 edge. That's the 2 rerolls.
That's what you want. Remember, you've got your own edge as well.
Yeah, so
There are a few +3s available.
There's 3 + 3s available.
3 plus 3s.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can only use, I think you can only use one at a time though, but
yeah, but I can only use 1, right?
Yeah.
Right, so we'll use one of the +3s. So that makes it 2 in the original lot of dice anyway. And then I'll re-roll another 4.
What, you're going to use your edge
And
on
I'll
that?
use the 2 edge I was given to re-roll 2. So there's 2. And then I'll re-roll the other 2. No, didn't get that. So that is 5 in total.
Who begin? He asks, and who might this mutual acquaintance be?
The mutual friend's not important. But
On the comms turns on, as in essentially FaceTime. And Paracon says, "Ah, you."
yes, me.
Rolled 6 hits.
Oh, shit.
I remind you, Patrick O'Connell is a technomancer.
So at this point, KTP takes the phone from Grifter and goes, "Remember me?"
Nico walks around, stands behind KTP, and goes,
I'll do you the courtesy of not infiltrating your host or try to find out where you are.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Sphere is actually
Forgive
gonna.
our friend and his
What?
rudeness.
It wasn't rude.
And then she's kind of batting him away.
Shouldn't be calling me, so I'm going to guess that this is. I don't know what this
You went really
"Yeah, I'm not
quiet.
hearing anything."
It says, you shouldn't be calling me. If you are calling me, then this is, well, I don't know what this is. So, make your point.
I would have thought that after what we did, that you might kind of want to listen to what we've got to say. But that's fine. You
I
want to talk
am
to us?
listening. You have to say something for me to listen.
We need a file from the servers in in the building, and Nico gives kind of the building, and honestly, we could use your help accessing.
Moment, and you see him just type something on the side. First, I can't help you. I can't.
Why?
That building belongs to us technology.
Right?
Yeah.
Different mega corporation altogether.
Right, but you're an O'Connell.
Yes. The only thing I can give you, and I want you to understand very clearly, I can't help you.
I would.
cannot.
Okay.
I would
You
like
will
to.
and you will understand very clearly what I mean when I tell you the following, which is the only thing I can offer. I am going to guess that a certain individual, a lady, gave Grifter this number. She, and you see that he begins to tense up. Like you actually see like the veins on his neck like begin to bulge, and he begins to break out in sweat. She and others in that building are planted there to try to get at that company's secrets. As he's talking, you see that he begins to bleed from his nose.
Can I roll some type of like insight as to what's going on if he's
Go
under
for it.
some type of okay.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same.
Perception, intuition.
Yes. I'll also allow biotech.
I was
Intuition
gonna
and
ask
biotech.
specifically because of. I want to roll specifically with the aim of seeing if this is reminiscent of the kind of conditioning that we might have seen with Grifter, for example.
Take a you can roll either intuition, logic, and biotech, or intuition and willpower. To see if it reminds you of something.
I'm gonna spend
Go with
2 edge
logic
for 2
instead.
real rolls.
Same here.
3 hits.
3 hits. Nico, this is, you're not an expert, but this is not him having an attack or something.
Right.
him helping you, giving you information, is having that impact on him. Fear, how much did you roll?
Also 3.
To put it, it's similar to what Grifter had, but to give you a bit more insight, I'm going to break the fourth wall a bit. This is RoboCop Directive 4.
Gotcha.
Going against OCP screws you over.
Mhm.
This is what's going on with him. Helping you is hurting him.
Mhm.
He tells you they are placed in there to acquire assets. I can't guarantee they'll work with you, but they're there. Your rigger should be able to identify some of them. And the call ends.
Grifter, trash that phone.
It cost me a lot of money.
Trash it.
Trash it.
I'll get you a new phone.
But no, that was the
A
best way.
better
Just stamp
phone.
on it, whatever
It's
needs
a burner,
to be
yeah.
done to.
ATP, I'm just going to tell you this straight up because you know it. If this guy wanted to find out where you were, he already was inside. He could have gotten your address immediately.
But the rest of the group doesn't know that. And if trashing the phone makes them feel more
Yep,
at
it's true.
ease.
The phone is toast.
Plus, as well, it might stop Grifter from actually making any stupid phone calls about us. I mean,
What happened to the
Ow.
truck?
Well, yeah, what? It's
So-
there in character.
Lasted all of 5 minutes. That did.
So they're assets to help us. That's what he said, right?
Yeah.
So we need to identify those assets and approach them.
All right, but
is this making any sense to anyone else at all? Because right now I'm really confused.
Well, I'm
So
guessing.
I'm just
The way if I understand it correctly, his corporate, the O'Connells, whatever, they have, like the lady, your lady friend who gave you this number, so that he could let you know that they have people in place, like spying on Aztec Corporation, or are like infiltrating it, whatever, that can help us.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah.
We just need to identify them.
So I mean, I
will
can go.
add a bit to that. He mentioned he cannot guarantee they will help you. So convincing them really is up to you.
So we need to identify them, and then we need to convince them.
I could go and try and talk to Miranda again, but I mean, it didn't go as well as I might have liked the first time.
But is no one else concerned that there's assets, as far as we're told? People have been placed within fuckingAz technology to help us.
No.
No, I mean, they could just be industrial
Or is
espionage
that
stuff,
just-
He
right?
said they were placed there to steal assets.
Oh, sorry.
So they were
Then I
placed there to do the exact same thing you were trying to do.
Then I misheard that. All right, so either way,
To make it clear, what he said was there are people there, including, for example, this lady, Miranda, that we have there trying to infiltrate the place and gather information, retrieve assets. Basically, corporate espionage.
all right.
He cannot guarantee that they'll work with you, but they're there.
So we gotta figure out how he's there. But also, given the way he's acting, that's gotta be corporate condition. That's just wrong.
And I thought it's
I'm
beyond the
halfway to
realm.
feeling pity.
Anyone in this group can make another intuition or willpower roll.
Okay.
You want to do it?
I will give an extra edge for this roll to both Nico and KTP, who saw something that might give them some extra.
You want to go re-rolls with it?
Hold on.
I'm actually gonna leave this roll be purely because
This one.
Sphere's focus was on that sort of biotech conditioning.
Seven.
Right, 7?
Yeah.
7.
What?
I did quite well because I get reduced costs because of willpower and the extra edge.
So what Nico and KGB both remember is that before you gave Podrick the file with, the thing with his family, you saw him essentially having a fight with his siblings outside. And the fight was pretty much Blondie, the dwarven one, berating him and holding a position of authority over him. Not only that, but, and KTP, you remember this vividly from when Sleek was infiltrating the mayor's office, because he saw them. When the O'Connells every time they appeared, it was Blondie at the front and the other two following behind him. Like Blondie is at all times the ringleader and the person in charge. If there's anyone controlling the O'Connells, it's Blondie. How do you know that it's not A, it's not voluntary, and B, if they could, they'd kick his ass. They are clearly not allies, even if they are siblings.
So he's controlling them somehow, either conditioned response or something.
I mean, that's conditioning, that's for sure.
We've got some information, not much.
So we identified the assets. I guess we need to go back and talk to Miranda.
Can try it.
Maybe don't get stabbed this time.
Can't guarantee it.
Maybe call and get a meeting somewhere instead of going up to her front door.
Oh. Yeah, could try that.
Meet her up for a cup of coffee.
I don't know, that sounds way too outside of our standard procedures.
Karis looks at you and signs, do we call Malcolm now?
How does everyone feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
But we said we'd do it, right?
Let me call Lawrence first. Let him know.
While the group's discussing whether to make the call or not, KTP just slips out and says, I just need to pop to my room for something, and goes to her room, and then Buzzy's pixels were.
Oh
He
no.
pops in a screen. Yes, madam.
I just wondered if you could help me with a question.
Yes.
And she says, like, what do you know about as technology? And she gives him out the address for the building as well.
You'll allow me a moment. And the screen shuts off. About 5 minutes pass. And he pops on and says, do you wish a historical account of what us technology is, or just that building?
Let's go for that building.
Publicly speaking, the building does not belong to us technology. It is a privately owned building that houses many different company offices. Following the paper trail and the money trail, it turns out, yes, the building is wholly owned by As Technology, and some of the money, essentially the offices also belong to them. Shell company after shell company after shell company. There was a significant amount of money put into by public records for remodeling in the building, yet nothing has actually changed in the facade or the internal structure, which leads me, as a humble member of the artificial intelligence community, to believe that something may have been built, perhaps going down. My guess, it's, probably you already know this. The entire building is a front for something more nefarious going down under the hood. As technology usually works in terms of magic and the weirder side of things. So anything going on downstairs might likely be, I'd like to use the word hinky.
That's a very weird word for an AI to use.
Likely some form of direct access exists. If I were doing it, or actually, I would build a secret room that was actually a secondary elevator, but I suppose anything is possible. And surely some of the people working in the building must have access to the underground systems. Security at the very least.
I think at this point, like KTP tries to appeal to kind of Pixelsworth's ego almost, and it's like, oh, come now, Pixelsworth, you're hardly a humble member of the community. You're an upstanding citizen, or just something like that.
And he fixes his 8-bit tie. Well, I do try my best.
Can't believe you're buttering up a bank AI of all things.
So if you were trying to get into the building, you'd look for a secret backdoor elevator.
Yes, or there have to be some form of data trace of how the security system is accessed, either on security terminals or a server. My guess is there will be some heavy duty security hiding that kind of information. But what I will say, and I know this as my experience as a humble member of the bank institution security forces, is that likely security, even though you may find the entrance and security in the upper floors, the lower floors will be their own world, so to speak.
You mean like the world you protected at the bank?
Not just in the Matrix, I mean in general. I think if you reach the lower floors, you are well on your own. Anything, I highly doubt that any passwords or secure information found above will help you much. Anything beyond getting below. So I suggest armor, firearms, and a good team. Have you considered investing in the Doc Wagon account?
Maybe we'll take your advice on that, Pixelsworth, because let's face it, we wouldn't be much of a team without you, would we?
I thank you kindly for the kind words.
Oh, we'll chat later.
Very well, sir. Very well, madam.
She goes back to the group and just, shares the information.
So we've got to find a secret way in, effectively.
Well, by the sounds of what Pixelsworth said, not only that, we're going to need the asset to get us down there.
To summarize Pixelsworth, what his insight is, on the upper floors, you may find, information on how to access the lower floors. But at most, you'll find the way to access and, the password or the credentials to do so. But once you are downstairs...
Yeah, it's a whole other world.
Yeah. It's a whole new world.
Start from scratch again. Well, I think, Crifter, you might need to invite your friends out for coffee or lunch.
Okay.
But as Carrie said, what do we do about Malcolm?
If you want to call Malcolm, if you want to talk to Malcolm directly and ask him what's going on, then do that.
I'm going to hold my hands up here and say, I haven't got a fucking clue what we should do. The reason why I mentioned it is because Karis is part of the team. He had an idea. We need to discuss it.
I think we'd be... I'm going to shut my mouth. I don't have enough of a stake here.
What does talking to Malcolm serve? What's the purpose behind it? What is it you want to know from Malcolm?
Well, Lawrence tasked us to find out why Malcolm's determined to end it all. So I was hoping that if I could track down Malcolm and speak to him in person, I might be able to get that information from him and maybe do something to help him with it. But you can't just it's not like we can phone him and go, hey, we've heard you're not well. Why do you want to kill yourself?
I wouldn't go down well, I think.
Exactly.
Also, we'd probably be putting someone in danger with that.
Uh-huh.
Why is it gotta be difficult?
Do you think he would tell us and not tell Lawrence? Because he won't tell Lawrence. That's what this is about. That's why Lawrence came to us, is because Malcolm won't tell him.
That is true.
It was the only avenue that I had at that time. I'm not saying that I believed it would work. I'm not saying I believed it wouldn't work, but it was the only option. Now, things are not necessarily the same. We're all here. We're all making these decisions together. We have more information now.
First signs. I only suggested because KTP spent 2 weeks looking into this, looking into Lawrence, looking into trying to find Malcolm. If you don't want to call him, okay. But I don't understand. What do you have to lose?
Lawrence's trust? I think that's the thing that Nico's most worried about, right?
While this is going on, Grifter has texted Miranda.
What do you text?
It's important. I need to talk to you again. Can we meet up at some point?
Oh, Brent. Just you and me?
Say that again for me, dude.
I said, hey, Brent, your name.
Yeah.
Yes. Just you and me?
Just you and me.
I'll text you an address. Public space. Lots of people. I don't stab you. You don't shoot me. We talk.
Sounds excellent.
I'll be in touch.
Okay.
We got a date.
Got a date. With no stabbing.
That's yet to be seen.
Eh,
Eh,
I mean, we've all got our different ideas of what a date is.
I mean, for Grifter stabbing in second base, so.
But no, they just still take it there.
I mean, stabbing is where you get to under the clothes, so
I mean, that's foreplay.
You don't kink shame here.
Not at all.
Right, so what's the plan other than that?
Well, the way I see it is that there's two decisions we have to make. One, does Grifter go on his own, seeing as he's been asked to go on his own? And if he doesn't go on his own, how do we make sure that no one else gets hurt? And two, do we call Malcolm? The other thing we need to figure out is how we track down these assets and find a secret elevator.
Well, I'm betting Miranda is one of the assets. So she gave me the phone number. So she must be. She said she did work for him. So as a freelance kind of thing, right? So she's in there, right? So it's got to be a way in for us. Because she obviously hasn't got the information she needs. Otherwise, she wouldn't be there anymore. She'd have gone somewhere else. So,
Or can put us in touch with other assets that might be in
right,
the building
right.
that
So,
can gain us access.
it's an helping hand on the inside. Like we get the information, and I know we give her a copy of the information as well.
So what are you saying then? You want to go on your own?
I think I should go and meet her on my own, because otherwise it just shows distrust from the get-go, right?
All right. One
I'm a big
decision
boy. I can
made.
look after myself. Almost. This
No,
happened last time, but
we all make mistakes.
Victor, I think you need backup. And I'm not saying visible or anything like that, but, and Nico kind of looks at Sphere.
What do you
It's-
need?
No, she looks at Sphere and then she looks back at Grifter. Goes, if we don't have somebody close by and shit goes down, we could lose you.
not a chance.
Bullshit.
Well, look, once I know where to meet, where I'm going to meet, we'll look at it. Maybe we can
Just as long
leave.
as somebody's close by that can
Yeah.
get there.
But I mean, she's not an idiot, so she'll see. Like, if there's anyone too close, she's going to clock it.
Yeah, not that I want to kind of bring this back up again, but look what happened when Sphere's drones were too close to someone.
We don't have to listen in or anything like that. Just
Be around.
be around. It's-
Thank you, Schnocker Sozzled. I probably am going to need it. Yes. But yeah, that's. I think I should go on mode.
I can keep an eye on the sky.
I mean,
Keep
I'm
your eye
gonna-
in the
I'm-
sky well back, though.
I mean, way in the sky with a massive zoom lens, and that's it.
Yeah, and then, or I mean,
I can be a
I'll
block
leave my
away and
comms
invisible,
open or
so-
something. So if I say a certain word in the conversation, it's about to go belly up, and you can jump in the car or send help
Pineapple.
or something. Oh, we
I
haven't
can be
got a car.
invisible and close by. So
Yeah,
I worry about being, too many cooks spoiling the broth,
Right.
that sort of
we
thing.
can figure it out. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
We don't have to decide right now. We don't even know where it's going to happen.
Exactly. I mind
Just
you,
nobody goes alone.
I don't currently have an eye in the sky, but that's one of the assets I'm reacquiring. So
But
can you set it up in like 2 days?
But Nico looks at KTP and she's looking at KTP. She's talking to Griff. She says, but nobody is alone.
So then KTP turns to Karis and again, says to him, Signs, what do you think?
I think you need an eye in the sky. I can be an eye in the sky, but that's just nighttime.
So she turns to look at Grifter.
Just stay outdoor cover. We need to. If she for a second thinks I'm trying to stitch her up, that's it. It's all over. And then we've not only not got an asset, but we've got trouble as we approach that building in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, why don't we say that we'll find out where the meeting is, and if we feel that Grifter needs backup,
Which I don't.
Karis can keep an eye on him from the sky.
Okay.
Which you do.
I'm good. I'm comfortable with that.
As in, you would rather be there.
No, I mean, I just really want to make sure we have some sort of way of keeping track of things. I don't want Grifter to, become the meat in another building car sandwich.
Well, we haven't got a car, so it can't be a car sandwich. So that's safer by 50%, right?
You make an excellent point.
I
Always
trust
thinking.
Karis with anybody's life here.
No, but yeah, obviously Karis could be on top of a building somewhere, couldn't he? I guess that wouldn't be seen.
I had
And
a
if
terrible
Carrie-
thought, but I'm only going to say this out of character. He would make an excellent gargoyle.
I dare you to say it.
No. I would like my character to survive these next few seconds.
I don't know if we can get him to do the whole Goliath thing from the cartoon. I'm down.
We're not here to satisfy your personal kinks.
I mean, Nico is, but
We're here to satisfy the kings of the chat. That's all.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's face it, yeah.
So, what do you want to do about Malcolm? Do you want to hold off?
Well, if we call him now, what's the pretense?
I don't. I wasn't here. All I know is that you wanted to find him to see if you could find out what was going on, right?
Yeah, Lawrence came to us because he doesn't know why Malcolm doesn't want to fight. So I was going to try and talk to Malcolm to figure out what the why and if there was anything we could do about it.
If you want to do that, I'm okay with that. Just let me call Lawrence first and let him know.
Ask you a question, and I need a yes or no. Are you calling Malcolm? You've been kind of going in circles on this for a bit of a while.
Yeah.
I need a yes
Let's
or
do
no.
it. Let's do it.
We got one saying no, one saying do it.
Then do it. Fortune favors the brave. Do it.
But I think Nico's right. If we're going to phone Malcolm, we at least need to tell Lawrence that we're going to phone him. And not necessarily to get do any digging or anything like that. Just to check in as a, hey, how you doing? We haven't spoken in a while kind of thing.
I ask again, are you calling Malcolm or not?
No one's willing to make a decision.
I say yes. You know
I
my
think-
opinion.
As far as Nico's concerned, this is KTP's choice. She was the one that instigated this. That's it, the call is on KTP.
Then the
Nico-
answer is no, because
Okay, then we
Nico
go.
was like, no, like, why are you doing this? And now there's another option. So she doesn't need to go down the one option that she had. So I think that right now, like, not that she doesn't care whether we phone Malcolm, just that it's like in a logical brain, he's saying, well, that was the only path. Now there's another path. Like,
So
Right.
let's hold off on calling Malcolm for now. And if you think that we need to reach out to him, that we can look at that later.
I think that's the best way.
there we go then.
Okay.
I think we've got our choices made.
Boom.
And I think with your choices made, that's where we're gonna end the session.
Oh, we're not going to get an address.
Worry, all the points that we're given will be refunded to everyone. They can give you the points all over again next time.
Oh boy.
And
So what you're saying is it'll carry over?
I refund them because it's easier that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
fair.
gonna be it for that session. You're all cowards.
I said do it.
I am not a coward.
I will say for the record that I was
Choices
saying
are-
do it.
Choices have been made. The GM will remember this.
But we dealt with things like a family. We yelled at each other, we cried a little, we had drinks, and then in the end we actually realized what was best for us.
And you know, you may have found something about the O'Connells.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so that's gonna be 5 karma for everyone. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you for joining us on this. Jesus Christ! All about life choices. I picked the title perfectly this time. We had a good amount of therapy here. And I thought there weren't enough channel points for the family therapy episode. So before we go, we'll just go around the room again, and we can tell you who they are, who they were playing, and where you can find in the dark corners of the Matrix. So, Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat, or at Cleric of Cord. you can pretty much find me here on Thursdays and lurking in a bunch of Discord servers, occasionally posting on Twitter about my very cute puppies, but not very often because I forget. I play Nico, the street shaman, who is trying to grasp the concept of family the way KTP sees it, because it's different from what Nico knows as family. So she's trying to understand. I don't think she quite gets it, but the one thing she does get is loyalty.
Diane.
Well, yeah, I am Dan. I apparently love emotional trauma more than I thought. And yeah, let's see. I had a whole spiel planned out in my head, but I'm just going to keep it short and simple. I am here playing Sphere on Thursdays as often as we can. You can also find me on this very channel tomorrow, playing something entirely new to myself because I've never played Vampire before, but I'm gonna dip my toes into that and launch myself headfirst into the deep end because, let's face it, that's what's gonna happen. And then on Sunday evenings, around the same time as this, I run a game of Drinkwood, the Blood of Tyrants, which is a very incredibly unsubtle case of, hey, what if capitalist oligarchs were in fact vampires who are sucking the literal lifeblood out of the population and surviving on it? And what if you got to stake them through the fucking heart? So, you know, if you want to see people fuck up capitalism, come join us. And that's pretty much all I've got going right now because my work is kicking into high season and it's a lot. And if you want to know just how much of a lot, I'll put it this way. We are nearly at 99% capacity for our services for the next 2 months.
And last but not least, kind of totally pissed.
That's Kim. I played KTP, who's had a few moments this session. And who knows where she's going to go next emotionally. And I think I'm going to shut myself away for the summer. So no one's going to be able to find me, and neither will hay fever.
No chance. And Peter play Grifter. And I'm almost in a shooty position, but then the game ended. Don't do emotion.
I mean, you all spent 30 minutes asking, do we call Malcolm?
So next time, pew pew.
So based on what something says in the chat, yes, emotional trauma, so we're here. I will traumatize you and hurt you emotionally for the sake of the story. And I will be proud doing so.
Repeatedly.
It's what I do. And with
we
that,
appreciate you for
it. And with that, we thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. We hope you had a good time. We'll see you next time. Bye.